My name is Nikita Miles, and I'm from Michigan, but I attend Iowa State University, and I studied in Beijing, China at UIBE. I would say that I'm a pretty typical college student. I'm active in my sorority, I'm a president of a student organization, and I'm heavily involved in the academics here. When I was a sophomore, I decided I wanted to go abroad. As far as what I wanted in a program, I found a lot of it in the Education Abroad Network. Then I went through with it and I decided that that was something I wanted to do. And Brooke, my best friend, I told her she should take Chinese so that we could communicate together, so that I had someone to talk to.
My name is Brooke Perillo, and I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I'm a student at Iowa State University. I'm a typical college student. I'm in a sorority, and I also cheerleaded here for 2 years. I've always wanted to study abroad. Like, I knew that ever since I was young. And I wanted to go to Australia at first. It looked amazing, and all the things that you can do there. And Nikita talked me into, like she said before, speaking Chinese, and the courses actually worked out better with going to China, and I just wanted to go anywhere, and she influenced me to go to China. At first my family was a little bit nervous, but then when I told them about the program and I showed them all the information that the Education Abroad Network offered us, it became less and less of an issue about nerves, and they trusted that I was going to be well taken care of. My mom thought it was crazy. She did not want me to go, honestly, and I just showed her the Education Abroad Network online and just showed her all the details and descriptions, and I was going with my best friend Nikita, so she felt a lot safer. She thinks it's amazing. She brags to everyone about it, like, oh, my daughter spent a semester in China, and she loves it. Orientation was great because we did so many really cool things. We went to the Great Wall, we had the Beijing Peking duck, which was delicious. We went to the hutongs, we rode in a rickshaw, we saw the Forbidden City, and the list goes on. My apartment in China was amazing. We were 10 minutes away from campus, and it was fully furnished, and we had a dryer, a kitchen, 2 bathrooms, and we had this beautiful deck, and we could see the bird's nest from our deck, which was amazing at night. I lived with 2 American students and 1 Chinese student. His name was Roy. It was very helpful living with a Chinese roommate. If we had any questions or were like lost in China somewhere, we could just call him up and he could help us out like at any second. He was amazing. I would describe the people in Beijing to be so warm and to be so willing to communicate. I mean, they were really, really friendly when it came to talking to us and making sure that we felt at home. I loved being there, and I felt so safe. It was a big enough city, but there was a lot of history there too, so we just learned a lot. We didn't have cars in Beijing, but they have a subway system, buses, taxis that you can get pretty much any time. You just go on the street and there's always a taxi right there. The nightlife in China is amazing. The weekends we would go out every Friday night to this one club. It was ladies' night, so you know what that means. And it was just, we had so much fun there, so we want to go back to the nightlife like to this day. My university in China was great. It was beautiful and had big grassy open areas that we would just lay down and hang out and study in. It was pretty similar to my campus at Iowa State. My class was a lot of international students, so from the first day I knew that it was just going to be a blast getting to know people from different countries, and it was just really natural because they were all in the same boat. Cheryl, which was our program facilitator, she did an amazing job. She set us up with everything we needed to, and it was really comfortable. One of the courses that I really enjoyed was just the Chinese courses. I loved my professors, and they were so willing to help me become better at just speaking in general. We would go out to lunch with our entire classes. Oh yeah, yeah. And that was just being like able close to with each class. It was like each class was a family, and so I wanted. And that. When we were out to lunch with our classmates, we were wishing oh, how come we don't do this in America? After the first day of class, why isn't everyone oh, let's go grab some lunch or something? And you just become really good friends with people in your class. I did have an internship when I was in Beijing, and it was working for a cosmopolitan fashion magazine for Beijing, China. I enjoyed it so much, and I'm so thankful for the Education Abroad Network setting me up with that because the experience was amazing.
One of the best things about China is that it's so easy to travel. We took the opportunity on our breaks to go to different places in China, and one of the places we went to in China was Guilin, which is more towards the south of China, and it's near kind of Hong Kong. It was so much fun, so beautiful. You've seen maybe some of the pictures in books about the rice fields of China. Well, we saw those, so it was just a great experience. Well, my favorite trip that we did in China was actually through the Education Abroad Network, where it was us, the kids from Shanghai, and an entire...
Kids from Shanghai?
Sounds like a movie. The students that were in the Education Abroad Network in the Shanghai program. We went to Inner Mongolia, and the reason why it was my favorite trip is because not only are camels my favorite animal, I don't know why they are, but I love them. We got to ride camels, so we got to be in the desert riding camels with all these people that were experiencing the same kind of things that we were, and we got to make just those connections.
It was students from all over the world and then all over America. There was tons of activities to do in Inner Mongolia, like the sand sliding. You go down this really steep sand hill on this carpet thing, I guess. And they also had, we could go on four-wheelers, go parasailing, ride camels like Nikita. That's her favorite animal, so that was quite the experience for her. It was, I don't know, a great trip. When I came back to Iowa State, the campus felt a lot smaller, which was crazy. The experience has also helped to build my resume. When I go to a career fair and I hand them my resume and they look and they see that I've been to China, it's just something to talk about and they think that's amazing. What I would say to anyone who is nervous about going to China is just to do it. The Education Abroad Network, they set you up with everything so you feel comfortable and you know step by step what you're going to be expected to do out there.
I never thought that I would be in Beijing for 5 months having an internship at Cosmopolitan with the Education Abroad Network. I mean, it was just mind-blowing to me that that experience kind of crossed my path. And I think that if I can do it, definitely just a typical, American can do it.
我要你去中国. And what I just said is I want you to go to China. I admit it's going to be scary at first to study abroad. I was nervous to go, but it's a great experience. You need to get out there, and we're all just people here on this earth, and we need to learn about everyone's culture. So I want you to study abroad.
You need to go abroad with the Education Abroad Network.